Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Speaks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a little minute, but listen, I want to get into some things tonight. Child, this Tory Lanez, Megan the Stallion. I don't even know what we want to call it, but listen, I want to talk about it because I did talk about it back before the trial started, and I got a video out there. I don't know when that was, child, because this seemed like this has been a long time. I don't know. This almost feel like it's about as long as Cardi B and Tasha K. That was like some years stretched out. But I feel like it's kind of been the same thing with Tory Lanez and Megan the Stallion. People have been divided. They were divided after everything happened, which was well before, the trial began. Like, people are just divided. People are still divided, today in 2023, post trial, post sentencing. And I want to talk about it because I know, like, if any of you who's been following me for a while, like I said, I did do a video a while back. It's somewhere out there, y'all. And at that time, I was showing a lot of, Tory's posts and things with him, kind of like, y'all, I'm about to be vindicated, y'all. Like, I'm ready, I'm innocent. And, so I was kind of sharing that information because at that time, there were a lot of people who had the voices out there for Megan Thee Stallion. And you had some speaking out, for Tory, but I would say probably at that time I was more so kind of sharing the feedback that Tory was giving. I was kind of, I don't know, y'all. This whole situation been a little shaky for me to where I wasn't completely sold on him doing it. And even right now, like, I didn't follow the trial to hear the details to say, oh, yeah, he did it or he didn't. But just going into the trial, like, my spidey senses, I just wasn't feeling like it was just, I don't know. I wasn't convinced, and I'm still not convinced, but that's just only because I didn't follow the trial to see like the details or whatever. But it looks like people are still divided. And that's your regular everyday folk like us who may be listening to this live, as well as the celebrities. So I wanted to, just talk about it. I'll allow you all to come in and talk about it as well. I wanted to share some posts made by some celebrities, such as Lil Bootsy, Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, like, y'all, like, everybody kind of been weighing in on it. Even like Iggy Azalea has been getting the smoke for her little letter that she apparently read. I don't know if she read it herself or she wrote it and somebody read it, but apparently, she did I don't know what you call those letters. Is that a mercy letter? I don't know, child. I don't know. I ain't never been to nobody court case to kind of listen to see, like, how that happens. But apparently he had a lot of people who kind of wrote letters in his defense to just talk about his character, including the doctor who did his hair. What do you call them? Implants, transplants? I don't know, because again, I can't relate to that either. But the doctor even kind of wrote a letter and just talked about, Tory's character, and it's like Team Tory. So that's why, I have on this live, what are you? Are you Team Tory? Or are you um Team Megan the Stallion? So I want to get into some things. I want to talk about it. I just want to see, or what they say, read the room to see, like, where are people mostly laying? Is it kind of like a divided thing where more women are on one side and men are on the other? Because I even seen another YouTube content creator who put out there that said it's, just kind of putting on alert for women to be careful of men doing heinous things to them, because they're kind of in their feelings about how this all kind of played out with Tory getting sentenced 10 years for I'm so used to saying allegedly, but for, I guess he was found guilty for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. So it's just a lot going on. And it's just like, should women rightfully so be on alert because of this situation, or just should women just be on alert when it comes to just men, or in particular black men, just because of just the high femicide, rates, or the or femicide. So femicide is just murders, I think at the hands of murders on women. So femicide, that's the whole thing, femicide. If any of you ever heard of that, that's what it is. It's like crime onto women, resulting in murder. So it's a lot. So I want to start first by just talking about the specifics pertaining to, I guess, the sentencing. We can start there. I'm going to share my screen, but I want to start there and just kind of see what are the details pertaining to this sentence. How did we get here? How did we get here? Because from my understanding, he was facing up to 13 years. So I guess he lost 3 years. He got 10. So he didn't get the max of what he could have gotten. But he did get 10, and 10 years is a lot of time. And then, if you break it down to like time served, good behavior. I hear from, apparently, I guess, California, that you have to do at least like 80% or something like that. I don't know if anybody, I'm from California, but I'm not familiar as far as with the laws as it pertains to this type of thing. But I heard someone say, in California, you have to do like at least 80%. I think it was like 80% or something like that. So when they did the math on, okay, 80% good behavior, we're looking at 6 to 7 years Tory could be out in. So let's get into this argument, this article. Please, as you come in, please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you hit the thumbs up button so that my videos can circulate, because I'm trying to kind of get back in the algorithm, because I've kind of been ghost for a minute. So as you come in, you like, share, subscribe, it'll kind of get me back in circulation to get these numbers up. Help a girl out. The like is free. I appreciate you. So let's get into this argument, this article. Tory Lanez sentenced to 10 years for Megan Thee Stallion shooting. So this is on NPR.org. So this article was dated August 8th. So that was just a day ago. So it reads, rapper Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years in prison Tuesday in Los Angeles County Superior Court for assaulting fellow artist Megan Thee Stallion. Last December, Lanez was found guilty of shooting Megan in the foot in July 2020 as they left a party at the home of celebrity Kylie Jenner. So yeah, listen, them Kardashians, somehow they are they name gonna be in some mess. I tell you, they name gonna be in some mess. So this is no different. It's unfortunate that when their names are linked to some mess, it's typically dealing with some mess involving people within the Black community. I don't know when we're going to get enough of messing with them. But anyway, let's move on. The article goes on to say, at his conviction, the defendant was found guilty of all 3 charges prosecutors had brought against him: assault with a firearm, illegal possession of a firearm, and negligent discharge of a gun for shooting the plaintiff. Lanez spoke for several minutes at Tuesday's sentencing. He described the plaintiff as his friend. So even though like he's been charged with shooting this woman, he's like, listen, that's my friend. No, I didn't do it, but that's still my friend. So whatever that means, but we're going to continue on with this article. Let's see, where did I leave off? So, quote, someone I still care dearly for to this day. So he said he described the plaintiff as his friend, someone I care for dearly to this day. Regardless of her feelings about him, he talked about bonding with her over the loss of their mothers. So how do we get here? How do we get from bonding over the loss of moms to he shot me? Like, houseway, like how we get there? So I don't know. I need y'all to help me connect the pieces. Megan did not appear in court for the sentencing, but issued a written statement saying, for once, the defendant must be forced to face the full consequences of his heinous actions and face justice. So listen, she's like, I said what I said. He did it. I don't care. Y'all say Kelsey, who? No, he did it. He did it. So when the shooting occurred, Megan and Lanez left the party along with a friend of hers and his bodyguard. So if y'all remember that friend, that was Kelsey. Yeah, they're no longer friends, but they were like the BFFs at that time. The artist got into an argument in the car and he began shooting at her feet. When she got out of the car, she was hospitalized and underwent surgery. Prosecutors had sought a hefty sentence for the rapper after the shooting. After the shooting, they said Lanez launched a campaign to humiliate and re-traumatize the victim and weaponized information on social media to turn the public against Megan. So, as I said, I've covered this early on, pre-trial, and Tory, he was out there like he was feeling himself. He was like, y'all, I didn't do this, y'all finna see. Like, he was outside, he was talking, he was confident. And like I said, even during that time, like that time when I did that video, I'm just like, okay, he's saying, I'm innocent, I didn't do this. Y'all finna see something. Listen, just wait. Just wait. Just wait on it. So that was the energy that he was given. And I mean, rightfully so, because remember, she did that sit down interview with Gayle King. So I don't feel like one should be able to talk and one not. I mean, they both were free to talk, and she did her sit down and was like, yo, I'm a victim of what he did to me. And then, he was putting out there, listen, I didn't do that. So, I mean, to me, it was fair play. Like they both had the right to say what they want to say. And he said what he wanted to say. So, Lanez, let me see where I leave off. Lanez's lawyers, meanwhile, were hoping for rehabilitation over prison time. Judge David Horford heard discussions about the rapper's struggles with alcohol, his childhood trauma, and mental health, as well as statements and letters written supporting the defendant. There has been less coverage of this case in the media than other similarly high-profile trials involving male and female celebrities in recent times, perhaps most notably Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case. Now, that was a big one. I didn't follow it, but listen, it was all up and down the timeline. So even if I chose not to click on it, I was seeing it. So y'all know it'd be a different kind of energy when it comes to us. But this one struck a chord with many people because of the negativity Lanez fans and fellow artists directed against Megan. For example, Drake in one of his songs implied that Megan lied about being shot. So again, remember I talked about, like, you have a lot of people are divided. You got your regular everyday folks like me, you, whoever listened to this live, and then you got the celebrities who are like, that man didn't deserve that, free Tory. And then you got some like, listen, he should have got life, death penalty, whatever, for shooting at that woman's feet, So it's so far right or far left. It's just insane on like where people stand on it. Like, it's crazy. So the district attorney Alex Bott described the shooting in court Tuesday as an act of misogyny towards Megan. Many cultural critics agree. Gabby Bogarelli, senior producer of NPR's hip hop podcast, Louder Than a Riot, followed this case for months. So being a woman going up against male-dominated industry, Megan is really fighting an uphill battle. Bogarelli said in an interview for NPR's It's Been a Minute. Hip hop was born out of the need to speak truth, but in a lot of ways, people who do that are vilified and further disenfranchised. Okay, so remember when everything first happened, Megan didn't say that she was shot. I think that's a big piece that a lot of people kind of are holding on to, is that her initial statement wasn't to fault Tory. I believe she said she had stepped on glass. And there are a lot of people who feel like the pictures of her foot, and we may be able to, go back memory lane and find those pictures, but the picture of her foot, with it looked more so like cuts from glass versus gunshots. Like, listen, I ain't never seen no foot, pictures that, from the result of a gunshot, but I wouldn't think that it would look like how Megan Thee Stallion's foot looked. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know what happened. And then from what I believe, they said the gun fragments, like the bullets or whatever, they were lost. So I don't even think they ever showed up in the trial, because when I first covered this, before the trial going into it, it was being said that those gun fragments or whatever, like it was lost. Like, how are we losing stuff? And so I don't recall hearing that anything that was an update during the trial that they surfaced. So I don't know. Y'all can let me know in the comments what the deal was with that. But yeah. So let's get back to this article. All right. Okay, where did I leave off? In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, Megan told the police that she had stepped on broken glass. During her testimony at Lane's trial last December, she said she was so afraid of the police in Lane's that she couldn't immediately tell the truth. I don't feel safe in the car. I don't feel safe with the police, she said through tears. She also testified that Lane's had offered her and her friend who was in the car the day of the shooting $1 million each to keep quiet about the incident. So again, as we see a lot of times, like even, excuse me, when you've watched just police shows, whether it be First 48, whatever show you watch, that first statement like means is like everything. Like if you veer from that first statement, like they are not letting you get out of that. It's like they're going to still keep kind of honing in on, okay, but you said, and I think that was the big thing with Megan, is that and she may believe that that's where she messed up at, is because she came out the gate, quote unquote, lying. So it's like, if you come out the gate lying and then you switch it up, be like, okay, no, this is the story. Yeah, this is the real truth. Okay. Like what are we to believe? What are we to believe? So I think that was suspect. I think, I really feel like that just kind of got the ball rolling to people to kind of side eye Megan and the story, because it's like, okay, who does that? Okay, come on, Megan. Like, girl, come on. And her reasoning for why she, I guess, lied, like people just, I don't know. It's just like a lot of people really weren't buying it. I wasn't really even completely sold on it. Um, so the article goes on to say, on an album released 2 months after the shooting, Lanez included lyrics denying that he had shot her and asserting that he had been framed. So Tory, he's been consistently saying, listen, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. She hasn't consistently said he did it, because remember her initial statement was she stepped on some broken glass. So he always was, I guess, from what we've seen on record, I didn't do it. She wasn't always on record saying he did it. If you see what I'm saying, like her story changed. His pretty much didn't. Not from what we've seen on record with as far as a statement being made. The maximum sentence for the crime Lanez was convicted of is 22 years and 8 months in prison. However, due to a recently passed California law meant to measure criminal justice reform, courts are now required to impose the middle length of a possible prison term unless there are aggravating circumstances. Judge Horriford had previously denied Lane's request for a retrial. The Canadian citizen the Canadian citizen also potentially faces deportation from the United States after he serves his sentence. So that's what I was wondering too, how the deportation was going to work, with all of this. So that's an interesting one that we can kind of talk about as well. Welcome, Paul Phoenix. You say, God forbid she lied because she didn't want to escalate the situation and not have the police get involved. She did it to protect Tory. So listen, she said, listen, we was coming off the Black Lives Movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, the George Floyd situation, uh just seeing black men just gunned down. So she's like, listen, I'm trying to protect my fellow brother. Like, listen, that's what she was going with. Okay, so it's just you had some folks who were like, yeah, yeah, that's why she lied. And others were like, girl, child, if you don't sit down somewhere. So it's like I said, I just feel like for whatever her reason was for why she made the first statement, when she flipped the script on that, that's when that the side eye kind of came into play. And here we are now. We're still divided. So, but like I said, we saw in this article that Drake had, he made a statement in his, because he's also a fellow Canadian, um, to Tory Lanez, but he made a comment in his lyrics about Megan Lion. So, but the rapper Bootsy Badass also recently reacted to Tory Lanez sentencing, and I want to share that. I want to get into that too, to see, what's his thoughts, because it's been a lot of people like coming outside, like, yo, like expressing their feelings about it. And some of these people, when it happened, I didn't hear them kind of making a comment too much about it. I don't know if Bootsy made one back then, but let's get into what he is saying today, because y'all know if somebody gonna have an opinion, Bootsy gonna have an opinion. So it says Bootsy Badass reacts to Tory Lanez sentence. So this is on hot new, let me see, hotnewhiphop.com. So Bootsy Badass has always been vocal online when it comes to various topics concerning other artists. Overall, this has included the Tory Lanez trial. Although Tory was originally convicted back in December, he was only sentenced yesterday. The sentence was a huge one, as he will now be going to prison for 10 years. Of course, this has led to numerous reactions online. Some say Tory got off easy, while others believe this is too harsh for a punishment. No matter what, it is a very polarizing topic. So in the eyes of Bootsy, Tory actually got off very easy. Bootsy harkened back to his own experience here, saying that in his home state, the punishment would have been a whole lot more severe. I think he came out good, bro, Bootsy said. I don't know how California work. I think he'll do 5 years. That's state time. Ish in Louisiana, that end would have did 40. A crime on a woman, highly televised, 40 in no cap. So a lot of people feel like because it was a crime against a woman, that kind of, I guess we're dealing with, I guess, what's sexism, like because it was a woman involved, like that's why I guess some people feel like it was harsh. But like Bootsy was like, no, like that wasn't harsh. But let's see what else he had to say in here. Okay. So it looks like this is Bootsy reacts to, let's see if it'll let us play it. Fair use. Let's see if it'll let us play it.
I think he came out good, bro. I don't know how California work. I think he only do 5. That's state time. He only shit, bro. Louisiana, that nigga would have did 40, nigga. A crime on a woman, highly televised, 40, nigga. No cap, nigga. That nigga would have got 40, nigga. I got 10 for third offense marijuana, nigga. Straight to Angola, nigga. Straight to Angola, nigga. Not even off of rehab, nigga. He lucky he wasn't in Louisiana, boy. I think state time, you don't do nothing but have 5 years. You do 3 years, little paper. He be back out. Stronger than ever. Louisiana don't play that, bro. A woman, boy, you would have got 40, man. He ain't gonna do nothing but 3 years on that, bro. That shit. I'll peel it, but I'll take, bro. Louisiana, he would have got 40, bro. I got 10 years, bro, for third offense marijuana, bro. 25 grams, another couple grams, and some more grams, bro. He'll be back, bro. Stronger than ever, bro. He'll be back. You can't take his talent away, bro. He gonna be back, bro.
Listen, Boosie said he gonna be back. So y'all think he gonna be back? Like, here's my thing. Like, you know, we see a lot of entertainers do like a lot of stuff. I always like to say people attention span is real slow. Like, I mean, it's real like small. Like you just a big story into the next big story. Give it about 7 days, then some other foolishness gonna happen, and then you're kind of like pushed to the back. So when it comes to this situation dealing with Megan the Stallion, I don't know. I mean, Tory still has a pretty good fan base, so I can see. Let's just say if he do a good 5 or 6, and he come out and do music, I can see him having a pretty decent sized support group. Now, it's going to really come down to as far as with who's going to be like who's going to want to do business with him. Like, you know how like sometimes people don't want to attach themselves to you because you know the negativity that's kind of like associated with you, so they like, nah, I'm gonna kind of steer clear. Well, remember, okay, Chris Brown, we can use him as an example with that whole Rihanna thing. Like that was a big thing with that whole Chris Brown Rihanna situation, and for a little minute, you know, nobody really was rocking with Chris, but then Chris still managed to still have a stable career, even though it kind of still comes up as far as his situation with Rihanna. He still has a pretty, I would say, a really still good fan base. So as far as with Tory, I think it just what's going to make a difference is how hard his fans are going to ride for him. And right now, as I say, there's a lot of people that are divided when it comes to this situation. And that could easily be an indication of who's willing to still support him through to his bid. Like who's still gonna ride with him to where when he gets out, they still finna be there rocking with him. Because really, I feel like Megan's career is kind of taking a hit when it comes to her music. Because I think I had seen where she had came out talking about she was retiring for now, but she really hasn't kind of been the same to me since all of this, as far as with, you know, being outside and, you know, doing things. And it could be a lot of just her choosing to kind of stay inside, but it did kind of, I feel like, impact her as well. So it ain't like I feel like she over here sitting pretty, even though she may feel like she was vindicated. It's still a lot of people that's still not rocking with her. Paul Phoenix says, keep that in. Sasquatch. Like, okay, so Paul, you like what? Like, lock him up, throw away the key? Is that what we give him? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't, I can see him definitely doing less than the 10 years. And I can see him still having a little good following, you know. I wonder how old is he gonna be in 10 years? How old is he? Let's do that. Let me veer away for a minute and see how old this man is. To try to do the math for in 10 years, how old will he be? You know, will he still be okay? So he's 31 now. So 10 years is 41. And if he do less than that, like he's still gonna be in his 30s. So you still got artists who still, you know, doing music, what definitely in their 30s, 40s, hell, Jay-Z's 50s. So I don't know. I feel like Tory could still come out and kind of still had a people talking, especially, you know, he done his sins. And if he and put in his music still, if he's still saying, yo, I'm innocent. I don't know, y'all. I really think that he could still end up coming out and having a pretty decent sized fan base. I don't know. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Paul Phoenix says, I wonder why Shawty got shot. Listen, Tory had put out there that he was smashing both her and her girl. So I don't know. Listen, like it just listen, I don't know. Paul Phoenix says he's doing at least 7. He probably going to get deported back to California after, or are you saying deported back to Canada? So deported back to Canada after this. So yeah, so even if he's deported back there, I mean, he can still do music from there. So if he does get deported back there, and what would he not ever be able to come back here? I don't know how that works, to where like after he's deported, like is he permanently banned from coming back here? Like how does that work? But either way, he doesn't have to be here to make music. So I feel like Canada, yeah. I feel like he can still kind of do his thing from over there, because like, you know, you just put your music out, you can be anywhere. Hell, people, R. Kelly was singing from the doggone telephones in the jailhouse. So, you know, he still can kind of put himself out there, you know, as far as his music, to get it out there. And I don't see him, if he's still saying I'm innocent, I don't see him getting out and veering from that. I feel like he's going to have a lot to say, and people are going to be interested in hearing what he has to say. And I know Megan Thee Stallion not going to be here for it, but it's not going to be anything that she or anyone will be able to do about that, you know, because once somebody serve their time, they serve their time. So I think even though, you know, he's getting set down, he's going to be doing time. I just feel like this is something that's still going to almost be a thorn in her behind for years after that to come, because he's going to talk about it, capitalize off of it, as in, you know, as he talks about it, you know, during interviews, still saying he's innocent. Like, I think, you know, I think it's gonna be a bit much for Megan, to where she's just gonna run and go hide, you know. But hey, it is what it is. So let's just see what Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy had to say about this whole situation. Because listen, everybody is like an a-hole, everybody got one. So everybody got an opinion. Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy react to Tory Lanez sentencing. So the trial that everyone in the rap world has been talking about for years finally came to close yesterday. Tory Lanez was sentenced to 10 years in prison, shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot way back in 2020. Fans online had generated substantial support for Tory, despite evidence pointing towards his guilt. In December of last year, he was officially found guilty and given a date for a sentencing hearing. The sentencing unfolded on Tuesday of this week, and reactions are still flowing in. So, on a new Breakfast Club release this morning, Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy gave their immediate reactions to the verdict. Quote, for everybody who keeps saying they don't believe Tory did this, he said in court yesterday he apologized for his actions and took full responsibility for the shooting. Charlemagne begins. He continued to lambaste fans who were susceptible to misinformation online. Quote, if you get your information from the internet, from the narrative created online, you're going to be misinformed all the time. DJ Envy agrees. Quote, most people don't read. They're going to go through the headlines and see what the headlines are. So Charlemagne continued, I just will never understand why Tory was doing what he was doing on social media. Like, I will never understand why he tried to try this case in the court of public opinion, he explained. Both hosts seem to come to the same confused conclusion. They agree that Tory didn't do himself any favors by attacking Megan online. At the conclusion of the segment, they make suggestions that those who get to express opinions on something like this case should have to be informed in order to do it. While many reacted to the supposed severity of the evidence, Bootsy Badass had a different take. Again, as we saw, he claimed that Tory actually got off pretty easy. He was in California, and had he been elsewhere, he would have done closer to 40 years. So, I mean, listen, I saw an interview as far as with Tory Lanez, who had covered it. So if any of you follow the content creator Neek at Night, she had she was doing updates from the court. She had followed the entire trial and up until even, the sentencing. And she had asked his attorney, what was he remorseful for? And the attorney was like, well, he was just remorseful for, like, what is he remorseful for if he's saying he didn't do it? And the attorney was basically like, he's just remorseful for just, I guess, his behavior, I guess, or reaction to everything, I guess, following him being sentenced, things like that. And, I'd heard his father had apologized too for how he reacted when he was convicted or found guilty. So basically, Tory was kind of more so apologizing for everything outside of the part about shooting Megan Thee Stallion. So that's that's why the attorney said he was apologizing, not for the reason that Charlemagne was saying, okay, he apologized for his actions. So it's like, okay, what actions? That's the thing. He apologized for his actions. So it comes down to which actions. So the actions that Charlemagne is referring to are different than what the attorney referred to. So just for clarity on that. But I mean, listen, everybody has an opinion. The verdict is what it is. Tory's going to have to do his time. Of course, he can go up for an appeal. Do I see anything changing as far as that would result in him getting out earlier be due to a change of verdict? No, but I can see him getting out early just for behavior reasons, as I stated, not doing all the time. And I do agree, like, had he actually been in the South, because they don't play no games in the South. I'm also in the South. And I'm in specifically the state of Georgia, but like they don't play in the South. So I do feel like the sentencing would have definitely been harsher had he been in a state in the South. But given that it was California, then as we read, they have the new law that was in place, 10 years, and then with him not having to do all that time, like, yeah, he'll probably be out in about 6 to 7, in possibly even as short as 5, but anywhere between 5 and 7. So he'll still be in his 30s, because as I say, he's 31 now. So he'll still be young enough to still be able to like have a career. He ain't gonna be like dust. But just gonna come down to if people are gonna rock with him like that, because it would have been a while since he had done music. But I feel like when you have a gift for something, I mean that gift is with you. So I'm sure while he's sitting down, he not gonna just not be using his vocals and singing. And I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say when he gets out, like, and people are going to be here for what it is that he has to say, uh, because it's going to been 2 years or however many years, and people are going to be like, okay, what is he going? Everybody want to see who's going to get the first sit down interview. What is he going to say in his music? So, but let's talk about Iggy Azalea. Like, she really have listen, she tried. I mean, she was like, "Listen, I'm gonna do a letter, and I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna try to help him out." And like it, I don't know if she feel regretful now, but listen, she tried it. So let me make sure y'all can see my screen. Let's get into Miss Iggy Azalea, because it seemed like the only time we hear her name is when it's dealing with her relations with some black man. So yeah, I forget she was even an artist, because you just never hear anything pertaining to a career of hers. But anyway, so this is on TMZ.com. Iggy Azalea, excuse me for having a heart. Tory Lanez doesn't deserve 5+ years in prison. Because y'all, wasn't Iggy making him plates and stuff, like cooking for that man? Like, like Iggy had been riding for him, like right after that whole situation with Megan. So I remember when people was talking about, I guess, her giving him a plate before her son. Like, it was just a whole mess. But y'all, let's get into this argument. I mean, this article. So Iggy Azalea's letter of support for Tory Lanez ahead of his sentencing for shooting Megan Thee Stallion is triggering, and it's triggering avalanche of backlash. But the fancy rapper says it's totally unfair. So let's see what she has to say in this letter. For the record, 1, I have not been in touch with Tory for months. I have no reason to be, but I do wish him well. 2, I don't support anyone. The whole thing is full of oddities. My letter never mentioned anything regard to what happened that night. 3, I was told this was for a judge only, yet it's been discussed in public. I never intended to publicly comment. 4, I am not in support of throwing away anyone's life if we can give reasonable punishments that are rehabilitative. Rehabilitative. Instead, I support prison reform, period. 5, I was asked to write about my genuine experience and the type of punishment I think he deserved. I did. It's not really that interesting, but I understand why it's being sensationalized. See you next week to discuss pizza toppings, I suppose. So, for starters, she didn't know her passionate plea would be for the public, but she's doubling down on feeling Tory doesn't deserve more than 5 years of shooting. Iggy barked back at her haters after it came out in court that she asked the judge to give Tory a transformational, not life destroying sentence, a point with which she says many people agree. So it looks like this was her post on the 7th. I guess this is the day the sentencing came out. I really hate that this is today's discourse online because it's not really an explosive um, revelation. Yes, he should be held accountable. No, the charges don't warrant 5+ in prison. Most agree with that sentiment because it's a reasonable take. This is not newsworthy. Iggy's sliver of mercy for Tory was met with disrespect. Surprise, surprise, especially when it was revealed Megan herself felt the complete opposite, as she felt her attackers shown a blatant lack of remorse since July 2020 shooting. Before the trial, Iggy and Tory were working on music together, a project he was greatly excited about when we spoke to him about it, but it never happened. Iggy says she and Tory haven't been in contact for months, but she still fully supports prisoners in general being being rehabilitated. So listen, she had an opinion, she's entitled to it, but listen, I guess, when you choose to, well, as I say, you put stuff out there, people gonna respond to it. But she's saying, hell, she thought it was a private letter. But y'all know how that go. Ain't nothing private, child. So it is what it is. So she's dealing with the backlash of that. Who knows? Maybe one day she'll be dealing with people actually commenting on her music. Um, if she's still a rapper. So I don't know, y'all. Y'all gonna have to let me know your thoughts on this one. I definitely let me know, sound off in the comments, like what's 10 years like right? Did the judge get it right? Should he have gotten sentenced 10 years? Because Tory was like, listen, don't look at me as a celebrity, just look at me as just someone who endured trauma, who has made not so good decisions just in life in general, someone who's trying to heal, who's trying to work on becoming a better person, a better man, a father. And the judge was like, okay, yes, and I am taking all that into an account because I am not treating this case or judging you or delivering this sentence based on you being a celebrity. I am doing it based on the law. And according to the law that you are guilty of being in violation of, this is the sentence. So judge is like, listen, I did judge you based on just you being someone who just broke the law. So it is what it is. I feel like, he'll survive it. He'll get through it. I did hear that at the trial, there were people, I guess, workers at the jail, prison, wherever he is, that said he had been a model prisoner thus far, leading like prayer worship and like just he's just in there doing what one would think someone would do if they're trying to kind of show a different side or trying to get a lighter sentence. So, he on code with it, whether or not he's sincere with anything that he's doing, that's just, only he and his higher power knows that. But I do definitely feel like he will be home or, out of prison or home, wherever, I guess, sent back to Canada in under 10 years. And we will be talking about Tory Lanez. That now, what would be crazy if he ended up being a bigger name post after all this than what he was beforehand. And that's the thing, because you have a lot of Black women who are actually, they're in their feelings about the whole thing, uh, as it pertains to just how people downplay any tragedies or traumas or violence that are done upon women, in particular Black women. It's like, okay, Black women lives aren't as important as other women's lives of other women of other racial groups. And then, you have some who feel like, okay, actually Tory was sentenced harshly because it was a woman's life. Like, so it's just so weird because how some feel like it was light, and then some feels like, okay, it was just too much. But I've even have some who feel like, listen, they should have just threw the book at him, threw away the key, like death penalty, shoot him back. Like, it's just crazy. Like, people are all over the place on how they feel about this situation and where they stand. Like, people are very, very divided. And I even seen one, maybe I'm gonna find it. They said that JT, the rapper JT from City Girls, had liked a comment made about, I think it was a negative comment made about Megan Thee Stallion. Let me see if I can find that. Rapper JT makes likes comment about Megan. Yeah, that's one I saw today. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know where I saw that at. I think it came up in my recommendations that someone, maybe like another content creator, had posted something saying that, um, the rapper JT had liked a comment. Like, basically, it was kind of like insinuating that she was like Team Tory. So, what I really haven't too much, I guess I'm looking for those people, I guess, with platforms who's come out and have acknowledged that they're Team Megan. Like, where are they at? Because just in general on YouTube and these YouTube streets, there are a lot of people who are like doing content and doing videos like that are like Team Megan all day long. But I haven't seen any celebrities as far as any comments being made where they're just like Team Megan. Like, are they out there? Do any of you all know of any celebrities who are Team Megan? If you do, I definitely please let me know um, who they are, because it seems like, I guess we had Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, that was, made their little comments on their radio show. But, we've seen Bootsy, he speak out. And then we saw what Drake had put in his lyrics about Megan getting shot in the foot. But like, who's team? Like, I'm just curious to know who's Team Megan. Like, let me see if I can find, because I'm just kind of curious about that, because Megan's a pretty big star, and I haven't even heard anybody from like Jay-Z's camp or Beyonce's, because I think, isn't she managed by Jay-Z, where they've even kind of at any point, I don't think I've heard them speaking out as far as how they felt about the situation. You guys can let me know if you're aware of them at any point speaking out. But I know as of late, I hadn't heard, since this verdict came out, I hadn't heard anybody from like, as far as Jay-Z from his camp or Beyonce's, where they kind of have spoken out about the vindication for Megan Thee Stallion. Uh, yeah, I haven't heard that. So it's just like, where are the people at it? Who's team Megan? Let me see. Celebrities reporting. Okay, so let's do celebrities reporting Team Megan Thee Stallion. Let's see. Let's see, like, where they at? Okay, so let me share my screen. So this isn't as in the present. This was like back. Let me share my screen. I came across some, but this was pre-sentencing. So I don't know like where these people at now. Okay. Make sure you're good. You can see my screen. Okay. So it says, "We stand with you, celebrities who've shown support for Megan Thee Stallion. It's been an emotional week for rapper, but those who support her haven't been silent over the last year." So this is dated December 16, 2022. So it says, "As the trial over who shot Megan Thee Stallion continues in court, it's important to remember who has spoken out in support of her during one of the most trying weeks of her life. This includes celebrities, but some of whom have taken to social media between the time of July 2020 shooting and now." So you have Cardi B. Cardi took to her Instagram in August 2020 after the Houston rapper initially addressed the shooting publicly and was angry over her even having to come forward to speak about the incident. Okay, so Halle Berry tweeted her solidarity with Megan. Janelle Monáe was heated over the treatment the rapper received for being a victim of a shooting. Chica noted similar sentiments recently. Chance the rapper wished Megan gets justice for what happened to her and reiterated the reality of violence Black women constantly face. And then Lizzo gifted Megan a giant stuffed dog with her favorite candy packed inside in solidarity with Megan, which she shared on her own Instagram briefly. So it looks like this is the picture of the stuffed animal that she gifted Megan Thee Stallion. Rihanna also gifted Savage Fenty lingerie and a card with flowers with the message, "Wishing you a full and speedy recovery, Meg. Just know you've got a whole crew over here sending good vibes your way." It was signed by Rihanna and the Fenty Corp gang. So, at that time, there were a lot of people. Like I said, I haven't really heard anybody really speaking out since the sentencing, as in like current times. It's like people kind of being what they call it radio silent on it. So I'm kind of curious as to why that is. It just seems like more people are speaking out as it pertains to like their opinions as far as with the sentencing that Tory got, and feeling as though it could have been a bit much, as far as with, maybe with celebrities. I don't know. Like I said, it's just like the people not really talking right now in the present. So I don't know if it's still early, if they're gonna, uh, if they'll come later. But this article shows 50 Cent now supports Megan Thee Stallion over Tory Lanez claims, offers apology. So I'm guessing at one point 50 was like not Team Megan. Let's see what this says. So this was January 2023. 50 Cent is walking back on his past comments about Megan Thee Stallion. Just a few months ago, the entertainer, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, shared his opinion about Megan's case against Tory Lanez, who was found guilty of shooting her at the end of December following a high-profile trial. According to Jezebel, the meme apparently compared Megan to Jussie Smollett, who was convicted of setting up his own hate crime. Now 50 Cent has taken back what he said about the ordeal and now supports Megan. During his appearance on the radio show, 50 Cent said that the reason he felt like she lied was due to her lying about never having an intimate relationship with Tory. Quote, "I'm going to apologize to Megan Thee Stallion," he says. "I said some things on social media. I posted things. The only reason why I felt like I should apologize to her is because I heard the phone conversation." He added that the phone conversation was a big part of his opinion. Quote, "It wouldn't be no reason for them to be around each other then. From that, it felt like she was lying. I wasn't being supportive of her at that point." So, okay. So, like 50 cents, like, okay, so it's my bad. Like, okay, go Megan. I support Megan. So I don't know. That's what he said then. Who knows, if that's the real reasons why he kind of changed his tone. Who knows? But either way, like I said, Megan's been kind of quiet. And she's, even though, he was found guilty, Megan's kind of been, living a very low key lifestyle. And I just wonder, like, when or if we'll ever see her kind of on the large stage like that. As far, I think she's done. I think I've seen a show that she's done. But like I said, she's not outside like she was before. Like, I definitely see a change with how she's been moving. See, she's 28 right now. So I bet, she don't move the same. Like, she don't. Let's go to her Instagram and see what she got going on her Instagram. Okay, so she got 31.2 million followers. Let's see what her last post is. So this was all pre the sentencing. So she hasn't posted anything since the sentencing. She definitely, from a physical standpoint, she looks good. She's lost a lot of weight. Like I said, like, she's living, more of a quieter lifestyle. I'm just sure, like, her things just hasn't been the same for her since everything, especially even after he was found guilty. Like, relationships are no longer what they used to be because people have kind of become divided. It's just, it's a sad situation, but she hasn't posted anything. So, I'm sure she's just kind of laying low, giving it time for things to kind of die down. It looks like this was at Essence Fest, so that might have been like her last performance. But yeah, like I said, she been quiet. She been quiet. So it is what it is. We're gonna see how it goes. You guys definitely let me know in the comments your thoughts, like, how you feel about all of this. Definitely make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Definitely like, because I'm trying to, get the video circulating, get back in the algorithm so I can kick out these videos more and just talk about the lives of just what's going on with these celebrities out here, because it's just so much. It's so much going on. I have a lot to say about a lot of things, but this was definitely one I wanted to come on tonight to talk about because it is a hot topic. So I definitely want to hear your opinions in the comments. I want to hear your opinions. Do you feel like, we judge got it right, or you feel like, nah, they need to go back to the drawing board? That man, free that man, let that man out, let that man live his best life. Let me know, talk to me. Also, let me know in the comments if there's any particular situations going on outside in these streets that you'd like for me to come back here and just talk about and just get into it. So, again, please like, share, subscribe. And if you feel so compelled to, my Cash App is $chic. I'm sorry, $speak 50, $speak 50. So until the next one, peace.